Welcome back. Hey, Technical Brad here. Okay, what we're going to do is remove our sending unit from our 880A. And one thing we're going to do is remove the cable that hooks to the gauge down here, and then we also have a ground cable. So once we remove those two, then we have 5 nuts around here that hold the whole thing on. We'll take these off. There are 5/16 nuts. This is the voltage regulator here, this box, and that's because we have the dyno system. We don't have the alternator system. If we had the alternator system, then we wouldn't have the voltage regulator. Take these things loose. Oops, that one came off. Oh, I dropped it. Fortunately, it landed down here in the pan. Now this sending unit, I'll talk about more when we get it off of here, is actually made by C-Choice, which is for marine applications. We take him out of here. Actually, our gasket looks pretty good. So we'll take this over to the bench and we will talk a little bit about it. All right, so we are talking sending unit for the fuel tank. 66 880 had a front mount sending unit, and this happens to be it right here. I took it apart because I was going to try to fix it. The problem with it is down in here. This rheostat part is all worn out. If we can see down here, that is all just worn away. And what you have is a contact right here on the end of the float. And this fits together in here like so, like presses in there. And then this, of course, will pivot up and down. And inside here, this will make contact. Your contact will be on that rheostat, and it registers the ohms, and that is translated back to your fuel gauge so that your fuel gauge would indicate empty, quarter, half full, whatever however much fuel you have in there. So I took this apart, and it's got just an end cap here that holds it all together. So I took this apart hoping that we could fix the rheostat part of it. I couldn't find that. There's some companies here in the US, I think it was up in Michigan, that you could send the stuff and they would rebuild these. Otherwise, in other words, put a new rheostat in there and fix this stuff up. But I went online, I looked for a long time for a fuel sending unit, and this was actually before the restoration of Brownie. And what I found was C-Choice. And it's model 15461. And the reason I picked this one is because it had the dimensions on it. And so these dimensions for the mounting was what I was concerned with. And I looked at them, and it's 2 5/8 diameter, which is, of course, the cross width of it, which is the same as this one. A 5-hole pattern, and the holes 1 3/8 distance around, that matched up as well. So I picked this up. This was for gas or diesel. It's for boats, marine applications. It has a range that is 35 ohms is full and 240 is empty. I don't know what the range for the gauge is. And when you have a sending unit and a gauge, they're supposed to be the same. So 35 ohms should read full on your gauge, and 240 would read empty in this case. I looked a lot for what the gauge is supposed to register. on Brownie, and I never did find any information out about that. I did discover in the electrical part of the manual in the design of summary changes, it was June of '73 when they changed from the front mount to the top mount for the 990, 995, 96, the 885, and of course the 880 was out of production at that point. But that's when they changed from the front to the top mount. This was originally a top mount unit. And the reason I got this is because it was bolted together. Most of them have a rivet in it, as we do here. So it's riveted all the way through. And, you know, you could drill that out, I guess, and put a bolt in there. But this particular one had a bolt system on there. And so I thought, well, I can unbolt the unit and I can make a bracket. And that bracket will change this from a top mount to a side mount. And we can make it work that way. So I did that. I relocated the whole rheostat sending unit part here. I relocated it onto this piece, located the holes, drilled them and all that, and lined this thing up. And then it was a matter of bending the arm. And the way I knew how to bend the arm was I mimicked the fuel tank with a framing square. And so I put the framing square on the bench. I made this being the bottom of the tank inside, and this being the side that the unit mounts to. And then I took it and I mounted it however far up it was, and then I knew how far down this had to go, you know, to reach the bottom of the tank. And so then I knew how far to bend this and make all this adjustment stuff before I ever put the thing actually in the tank. And so I made this bracket out of brass, and I relocated all this and got this all hooked up. The difference between this one and the original one is this one actually has a ground wire on it. This goes to the sending unit, and there's a ground wire here, terminal here, that I had to wire to a ground terminal that I have. I also marked it here with an arrow which way is up, because you didn't want to turn it around and mount it backwards, because it wouldn't register right. So that's how I did that. The problem I have is the end right here. And this is pretty sharp. And I noticed over the summer that was kind of digging into the tank. And it's kind of sharp, kind of pointy. It's not really pointy, but it's just sharp where I cut it off. So what I want to do is I want to alter this a little bit so that I can, you know, so that when it goes down to empty, this isn't scratching into the bottom of the tank, which is what it's doing right now. But that's just how I came up with a solution to the fuel sending unit that didn't work in, you know, Brownie 1966 version. So the first thing I'm going to do is just take a file. Now this is a stainless steel rod, as I recall. And it might be enough just to round this thing over that, you know, it won't dig into the tank. I'm also thinking about trying to just round this end up a bit on it so that it will, you know, not come in contact with the bottom of the tank. That is pretty sharp, really. So we'll see if we can't maybe bend this thing a little bit. Yeah, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. Okay. Be nice to put a cap on there, but I don't want to do that. The problem is, if you had that on there, it'd be great, but if that comes off, man, that's gonna mess everything up. And I don't know, you know, if these caps, if they'll degrade in the fuel over time or not. So, yeah. we'll have to ponder this a little bit longer. So we monkeyed around with this thing for a little bit, and here's what I came up with on it. I did straighten this bend out here. It was bent more coming over this way. I actually straightened this whole thing out, and then I put a bend here at this end. And the reason was this was straight coming out of here, and this very tip here was digging into the bottom of the tank. I also filed that down, rounded that off a bit, but we got this bend in here, so this isn't going to come off. The float won't come off here. I'm not going to use the snap ring thing on there. We'll just leave it like this because that ain't going to go anywhere. And if it gets into the bottom of the tank, it's going to be more on this radius, but it should hit the bottom of the float itself. I did also raise it. Judging from my map here, it's about probably a half inch tall, or off the bottom of the tank. My thought is, if we've got a gallon of fuel in there and it registers empty, I don't have a problem with that. I would rather it be that way than have this thing dig into the tank and cut a hole in it or anything like that. We look at our original float. It came off, it was coming off to the side. It would have been like this in the tank, where this one would have been straight up and down, so this would have been more vertical. And what we have is, we look here, it probably, this would have been the top. That must have been the top of the tank. It bounced up in there, and then the bottom of it would have been down here, and that probably is where it rubbed into the bottom of the tank. But either way, that you've got the plastic part of the float coming in contact with whichever surface that it's coming in contact with, the bottom of the tank or the top of the tank. So that's not going to dig into it, and hopefully this thing won't either. But that's just a little modification we did on it. We'll put this thing back together. Fairly simple. You put it back in. You got your 5 lock washers and nuts that go on there and all that. I've got it marked here with an arrow pointed to the top, which is good, but it is in pencil, so we'll go ahead and we'll redo that. So now we have it marked what is the top, because if you put it in upside down, well, that ain't gonna work too well.